Think you've seen all the GBA had to offer? Bet you only scratched the surface with your Pokemons, Zeldas and Marios. But deep in the pixelated underbelly of the Game Boy Advance lie 50 of the strangest, boldest and most brain-twistingly unique games ever crammed into a tiny cartridge. They're the bizarre, the forgotten, the how did this even get made kind of gems. Strap in, charge that SP, and get ready for a hard-boiled ride through titles nobody talks about, but definitely should. Ready to deep fry your nostalgia circuits? Let's get weird. Comix Zone. It kicks off with a lightning bolt zapping a comic page, and boom, our dude Sketch Turner, a rock and roll artist type with more abs than luck, is sucked straight into his own creation. And this ain't some cute doodle dream. It's post-apocalyptic panels packed with mutants, mayhem, and a villain named Mortis who just wants a real-world passport. Inside this inked-up madhouse, Sketch ain't just sketching. He's punching, kicking, and paper-plane launching his way through a comic book, literally. And yes, his pet rat Roadkill is not just a mascot, he's MVP material, finding secrets, flipping switches, and being cooler than half your friends. Now the real gimmick? This game is the comic book. You don't move level to level, you move panel to panel, smashing through fourth walls and occasionally the floor beneath your feet. Combat is tight. Items are weirdly awesome. Iced tea heals you. Yes, please. And there's even a super sketch move that lets you obliterate enemies with comic book flair, but it's brutally tough. Every punch drains your health if you're breaking stuff. If you're too slow, you don't just lose a life, you watch the heroine drown. Yeah, hard-boiled indeed. Shining Soul 2. You think light is always the good guy? Think again, sunshine. In this slick little action RPG, the world's been too chill since the last dark god got whacked, so now the scales tip the other way, and darkness is doing squats in the shadows. You play as a random gladiator with serious main character energy, getting roped into rescuing a princess, unraveling a conspiracy, and smacking around chaos itself because royalty can't stop getting kidnapped. Classic. But don't let the save the princess setup fool you. This story spirals into full-blown fantasy chaos with cursed fruit, shadow cults, double agents, and literal cosmic balance restoration. Now, onto the spicy stuff. Gameplay. It's basically Diablo crammed into a GBA cartridge, complete with loot hoarding, dungeon crawling, elemental resistance grinding, yes, take damage to get stronger, and enemies that respawn just to ruin your day. Pick one of 8 classes, like a spear-lobbing archer, a flame-yeeting sorceress, or a straight-up dragonute with more muscle than IQ. Smash your way through dungeons, charge up powerful soul attacks, and switch weapons on the fly like you're prepping for a cosplay convention brawl. Oh, and there's multiplayer co-op via link cable, because nothing says bonding like roasting goblins with your buddy's priestess healing your behind. GBA never felt so hardcore. Ninja 5-0. Our hero? A straight-laced, shuriken-hurling ninja cop. Because apparently Joe Osugi, Ninja of the Law, was too much for the title screen. The mission? Slice, dice, and grapple hook your way through terrorists hopped up on mystical masks that basically scream, what if Halloween went full supervillain? Spread across 5 missions with 3 intense levels each, plus boss fights that are straight-up Saturday morning cartoon chaos. This game throws you into high-stakes hostage rescues, laser-dodging acrobatics, and precision ninja mayhem like it's a GBA Die Hard with ninja stars. The gameplay is pure, buttery platforming goodness. Joe's got a sword that swings faster than you can say warrant, a set of magical ninja spells to mix things up. And, most importantly, a SWAT-grade grappling hook that lets you zip around ceilings like Spider-Man with a black belt. You'll jump, slash, and swing your way through stages filled with enemies who have no idea they're about to get schooled by a cop in taby boots. Every level plays like a mini speed-run playground, rewarding quick reflexes and smooth maneuvering. It's hard, it's tight, and it makes you feel like the deadliest Boy Scout ever. Ninja 5.0 didn't just sneak under the radar, it vanished in smoke, but man, it deserved center stage. Gundam Seed Battle Assault. This is giant metal mecha mayhem, and it plays as heavy as it sounds. Imagine Street Fighter decided to take a stroll through the Universal Century, strapped into a Gundam 3 stories tall, moving like it weighs actual tons. That's Gundam, the Battle Master. Every match is a screen-shaking slugfest with beam sabers, machine guns, and enough overheating to make your PS1 sweat in sympathy. Instead of a traditional health bar, you've got a temperature gauge. Take damage, you heat up. Get too hot, you overheat, and go down like a vending machine after a kick. 4 overheats, and it's game over. Mech pilot. Add to that breakable armor parts. Yes, you can literally punch a Zaku's arm off. And you've got one of the most grounded yet chaotic fighting systems on handheld and console. Movement slow, but deliberate. Thrust lets you float like a brick-shaped butterfly. Projectiles? Unblockable. Shields? Only some suits get 'em. Bosses? Absolute unit status, soaking up hits like an angry skyscraper. And the GBA port? It brings the series' signature chunky, multi-jointed sprites and oddly addictive mechanics into the palm of your hands. There's something hypnotic about launching a beam rifle shot that can't be blocked, or watching your overheating Gundam collapse in dramatic Gundam telenovela fashion. It's weird, it's heavy, it's utterly fantastic. Air Force Delta Storm. The world's falling apart due to overpopulation. Medicine has made everyone practically immortal. And guess what solves this crisis? Fighter jets, naturally. Air Force Delta Storm puts you in the cockpit of elite mercenary pilots with Top Gun swagger and a shoot first, ask diplomatic questions later policy. You're caught in a global turf war between United Forces, aka tech bros with bombs, and Allied Forces, aka we still farm stuff, back off. The solution? Blow up everything that isn't your runway. On GBA, this game pulls off the impossible. It turns a 3D air combat simulator into a surprisingly smooth, sweet little cartridge of jet-fueled fun. You pick from a bunch of unlockable aircraft, each one with distinct stats and range limitations, which adds an almost strategy RPG twist to your mission path. One wrong move, and you're dogfighting in a zone you weren't ready for, yelling at clouds like an angry pilot grandpa. The controls let you ease in on novice mode, or flex your pilot brain on ace, where you control pitch, yaw, air brakes, and throttle like you're in an actual flight academy. It's part arcade shooter, part tactical chess match in the skies, and entirely underrated. Basically, it's the GBA's answer to Ace Combat, with more pixels and way more guts. Shonen Jump's One Piece. Stretchy pirate fists and 4 kids dub edits. What could possibly go wrong? This USA exclusive One Piece beat 'em up drops you into the high seas chaos of the East Blue Saga, except everything's filtered through the infamous lollipop instead of cigarette localization. Still, you're here for one thing: punching everyone from Marines to buggy clowns into unconsciousness with Monkey D. Luffy's elastic limbs and rubbery charm. And on that front, the game absolutely delivers banana-flavoured chaos. You'll side-scroll your way across platformy levels while brawling in true button-masher glory. Luffy's combos are simple, but the visuals give each punch some extra comic book oomph. Special moves bring in the crew as summon-style assists, with Zoro slicing things up, or Sanji kicking names and taking butts. Boss fights include familiar faces like Buggy, Smoker, and other misfits, each with attacks that'll make you dodge, jump, and rethink your snack break. There's even a little treasure hunting. Cleared levels can be revisited to scoop up canon-ish goodies for bragging right. Environments are surprisingly interactive too, letting you smash barrels, leap over ledges, and yeet enemies off ships. Sure, the anime purists might wince at the 4Kids edits, but gameplay-wise, this GBA gem packs all the pirate energy of a Straw Hat bar brawl in your pocket. Yo ho ho, and a cartridge of fun. Wario Land 4. Greedy, grumpy, and gloriously gassy, Wario is back, baby. And this time he's not just hoarding coins, he's raiding ancient tombs like a mustachioed Indiana Jones with indigestion. In Wario Land 4, our favourite gold-sniffing anti-hero stumbles into a cursed jungle pyramid while chasing a mysterious black cat, because, of course, only to discover a princess cursed by a bling-obsessed fashion disaster known as the Golden Diva. The goal? Beat down bad guys, grab treasure, and maybe save someone, but only if it comes with a payday. The gameplay is a chef's kiss combo of puzzle platforming, headbutt-based violence, and full-on panic runs. Every level starts calm, but once you smash the magical switch, ETM, a countdown begins, and you've got to sprint back to the entrance, while everything collapses behind you like you're late for Taco Tuesday. Hidden crystals, giant frog bosses, and bizarre power-ups, yes, you can turn into a puffy balloon Wario, make every level feel like a slapstick fever dream. Add in 4 themed worlds, nature, toys, machines, and full-blown haunted house vibes, and you've got more variety than Wario's facial expression. Bosses? Weird. Collectibles? Addictive. Mini-games? Hilarious. And the ending? Depends on your loot score, ranging from bratty kid to super princess goddess. No matter what, Wario ends up rich and headed for a steak buffet priorities. Tactics Ogre, the Knight of Lodis. Knights, demons, betrayal, and a spear made out of a devil's actual horn. Welcome to the most polite war crime simulator on the GBA. In Tactics Ogre, the Knight of Lodis, you start as a good little soldier boy, Alphonse Loher, all buttoned up and loyal to the oppressive Lodis Empire. But a little detour in the war-torn land of Ovis quickly teaches you that maybe your empire is the bad guy, especially when your captain starts giving major, secretly evil church guy energy and villagers keep dropping cryptic horror stories between farming and sobbing. The gameplay is pure tactical RPG gold. Every battle's a top-down, grid-based ballet of positioning, class perks, and terrain manipulation. Your troops? A deeply customizable mix of humans, dragons, ghosts, and probably something Lovecraft sneezed out. You'll micromanage gear, elements, alignments, and even collect weird little emblems for pulling off stunts like soloing bosses or using no items. Some buff you, some curse you, some just flex. Combat feels like Final Fantasy Tactics' gritty cousin who listens to prog metal and only speaks in Shakespearean quotes. And your choices matter. Multiple endings hinge on your decisions, your speed, and whether your waifu Eleanor makes it to the final boss. one of the most criminally slept-on epics ever stuffed into a Game Boy cartridge. Dragon Ball Z, Legacy of Goku 2. Before Kakarot went full 3D and made your console weep, there was the Legacy of Goku trilogy on GBA. Arguably the most ambitious and, let's be honest, occasionally janky attempt to squeeze Super Saiyan swagger into your pocket. The first game starts you off as Goku, jog-walking through forests, punching dinosaurs, and asking yourself, why am I dying to bees? Despite that humble chaos, it ends epically, with Frieza exploding, Namek imploding, and Goku going blonde in one of the first Super Saiyan transformations on handheld. Then comes Legacy of Goku 2, where the real fun begins. You play as Gohan, Trunks, Vegeta, and even Piccolo, unlocking new forms and energy attacks like it's Saiyan Christmas. The scouter mechanic is weirdly addicting. Who doesn't want to check if a dog's power level is over 9,000? And the RPG leveling, mixed with action gameplay, gives it a satisfying grind and punch rhythm. Also, you can unlock Hercule as a joke character with his own mini-ending. Yes, this is real. Finally, Boo's Fury goes full RPG. Custom stat builds, wearable gear, defense mechanics, and fusions. You can actually go Super Saiyan 3, fuse into Gotenks or Gogeta, and pummel Majin Buu into pink bubblegum. It's less about bugs now, and more about punching space demons with optimized stats and Kai-powered uppercuts. Is it the deepest RPG? No. Is it the most nostalgic Dragon Ball GBA ride ever? Absolutely. And yes, you will spend 30 minutes farming XP in the woods because Vegeta needs to punch harder. Juka and the Monophonic Menace. In the magical, slightly off-tune world of Obla, alchemy isn't just for turning lead into gold, it's for saving your hometown from an evil force with a name that sounds like a bad band, the Monophonic Menace. Enter Juka, a pint-sized alchemist with a big heart, big flasks, and a mission to stop this melody-mangling villain from turning peaceful tunes into destructive noise. It's a coming-of-age, potion-splashing, sound-wave-dodging adventure that somehow turns the GBA into a pocket symphony of action-adventure charm. Gameplay-wise, this one's got soul. You'll be brewing potions, solving environmental puzzles, and engaging in rhythm-based combat where you use sound waves to knock enemies into next week. You'll collect ingredients, unlock new recipes, and explore lush forests, icy caves, and mysterious labs while uncovering the truth behind the sonic plague plaguing your people. It's got heart, even if it's a little slow on the draw compared to heavy-hitting RPGs. And yes, the PAL version had a boss bug so bad it turned Frostinator into an immortal popsicle, but the NA release fixed it. It's not a perfect potion, but for a handheld Zelda-light experience with some alchemy flair, Juka absolutely hits the right notes. Racing Gears Advance. If Mario Kart and Twisted Metal had a GBA baby and gave it real-world cars and a face-melting Neil Voss soundtrack, you'd get Racing Gears Advance, the combat racer that said, sure you can drift, but can you dodge a missile while doing it in a Lotus Elise? This game doesn't mess around. You're fighting your way through 25 tracks spread across 5 Greek-lettered cups that sound like they could summon ancient deities or just cause extreme road rage. Each race drops you into a top-down perspective with tight controls so buttery you'd think the GBA had analog sticks. You pick from licensed vehicles. Yes, that Hummer H2 is real. And yes, it absolutely crushes puny Lotuses in corners. and then arm yourself with rockets, mines, and nitro boosts to ruin friendships in multiplayer. It's like taking a Cadillac CN to Demolition Derby night and leaving with a trophy and no regrets. You'll earn cash by placing high, which you then pump into upgrading armor, handling, speed, and weapons, turning your once wimpy Dodge into a drifting death machine. And that soundtrack? Synth heaven. Neil Voss absolutely slapped. Whether you're speed junkie Jack Speed or mysterious space wave, every lap feels like an explosive battle to the finish line. GBA racing peaked here, no debate. Pyuu To FUKU. Imagine wanting to be a rock god, and instead ending up in recorder class with a man who looks like he wandered in from a dimension where logic is on permanent vacation. That's the kind of fever dream you get with Pyuu To FUKU. Jaguar, a GBA game adaptation of the delightfully unhinged gag manga that's equal parts musical chaos and pure comedic gold. You play as poor Pyuu, who just wants to shred on guitar and become famous, but keeps getting sidetracked by Jaguar, an eccentric recorder virtuoso who can make his tiny plastic flute sound like a full-on power ballad. The gameplay riffs off classic 2D side-scrolling adventure structure, blending light puzzles, mini rhythm challenges, and dialogue segments so absurd you'll think someone spiked your cartridge with wasabi. You're not just exploring music school corridors, you're battling bizarre music rivals, surviving musical mishaps, and navigating a cast that includes deranged vocalists, melodramatic drummers, and one guy who might be possessed by jazz. Boktai 3, Sabata's counter-attack. Sunlight, swords, vampire brothers, and a bike that could give Ghost Rider envy. Boktai 3. Sabata's counter-attack is the GBA vampire hunting sequel you never knew you needed because, well, Konami only dropped it in Japan. But let me tell you, this thing slaps harder than a solar-charged coffin lid. After getting nearly obliterated by his own bro Sabata, who's been brainwashed and possessed because of course he has, Django crawls out of a moonlit grave ready to kick some undead tail. And this time, he's wielding both guns and swords like he just raided a Belmont garage sale. Gameplay still uses the famous solar sensor, yes, the one that makes you play in actual sunlight, like a true daywalker. You'll need it to purify enemies, charge your Gun del Sol, and pull off solar smithing. But new to this one, the trance gauge. As you dish out damage, it fills up and lets you enter either a soul trance, Radiant Vengeance mode, or a dark trance, Hello Vampire Rage, each delivering screen-melting super attacks. Combine that with real-time sword slashing and strategic gunplay, and you've got a hybrid combat system that somehow makes the GBA feel next-gen. Also, Django now cruises between dungeons on a customizable vector bike, because who walks to save the world anymore? You tweak this beast for speed, firepower, and undead splatting precision as you chase Ratatosk, the world's most evil puppeteer, and try to save Sabata, who's fused with Van Argand, a cosmic death wolf with a grudge. Guilty Gear X Advance Edition. Yes, someone really tried to fit the wild, metal-fueled chaos of Guilty Gear X into a GBA cartridge, and somehow it kind of works. Guilty Gear X Advance Edition is what happens when you compress a screaming electric guitar solo into a chiptune remix and still make it bang. It's 1v1 anime-style fighting, boiled down for tiny screens and tinier buttons. And while the story's been left in the back alley with no new additions, the punches, slashes, and special moves are still here, just way more pixelated. The roster pulls from Guilty Gear X Plus, so you get Sol Badguy, Kai Kiska, and all the beautifully unhinged weirdos you'd expect, like Testament and his murder crows, or Jam Kuradaberi throwing kicks like a caffeinated hurricane. Controls are surprisingly responsive for the GBA, with simplified input to make those wild overdrive attacks doable without breaking your thumbs. And yes, you can still slash people in the face with a talking sword, or summon dolphins mid-combo if you're playing Mei. Motocross Maniacs Advance. There's Chaotic Motocross, and then there's Motocross Maniacs Advance, a turbocharged, nitro-huffing GBA upgrade to Konami's OG bike-flipping cult classic. This is the game that says, hey, gravity is optional if you've got enough rocket fuel and questionable decision-making skills. You're no longer just racing, you're launching off loops, doing aerial acrobatics, managing mid-air physics like a caffeinated stuntman, and praying you don't face-plant into a pixelated pile of dirt. Gameplay is still side-scrolling, but now it's in glorious 2.5D, with backgrounds that actually look like something out of a motocross anime. You pick your racer, customize your ride, and hit wild obstacle-packed tracks where one wrong backflip can yeet your entire run into the retry zone. It's all about momentum, mastery, and milking every nitro canister, those glowing end pickups, like your life depends on it, because it kinda does. Some tracks even require boosts just to survive the route, and if you run out, well, enjoy sobbing quietly into the gravel. Dragon Quest Monsters Caravan Heart. Before Kiefer was that rebellious redhead from Dragon Quest VII, he was just a 10-year-old prince looking to stir up some trouble. And Caravan Heart gives us that glorious backstory with a monster-collecting twist and enough wagons to make Oregon Trail jealous. After sulking in his closet, as all great heroes do, Kiefer gets yeeted into the mystical realm of Torland by a masked illusionist named Magarugi, who promises him a wish if he can find the legendary orbs of Lotto. Naturally, this leads to cross-world travel, monster battling, and leading a nomadic army of humans, monsters, and portable shops. You know, normal kid stuff. Gameplay is a mix of traditional turn-based Dragon Quest combat and caravan management on steroids. You recruit monsters using the deliciously dark Monster Hearts system, basically grafting two monster essences together to create more powerful hybrids like some kind of medieval pokey Frankenstein. But the real innovation? Humans join the fight too, with 20 class options from Bard to Mapper. Yes, that's a real job. And their combined weight determines how many you can cram into each wagon. Strategic positioning is key, especially since you're literally mapping routes to avoid starving to death. Yes, food management is a thing now. Gunstar Superheroes. Welcome back to the Chaos Carnival, where explosions are beautiful, bosses are bonkers, and a color-coded duo has to save the galaxy again. Gunstar Superheroes on the GBA is a glorious pixel-punching sequel to the Genesis cult classic, and it cranks the action dial way past 11. Red, now a badass heroine, and Blue, still stoic, still stylish, return to face a reborn empire, new moons of madness, and yet another attempt to resurrect the blinged-out intergalactic menace known as Golden Silver. Yes, this game really said, let's fight on a fifth moon because the fourth wasn't spicy enough. Gameplay is buttery smooth, run-and-gun mayhem with a few tricks up its sleeve. Weapon fusion is gone, RIP, combining lightning with flame for chaos combo. But in return, you can switch between three distinct weapons on the fly: machine gun, flame, and laser, and each one shreds enemies in its own satisfying way. Toss in a melee system that lets you uppercut robots like you're auditioning for a kung fu anime, and a supercharge meter that builds towards screen-clearing blasts, and you've got a recipe for controlled, gorgeous chaos. Each level is an explosion buffet. One moment you're blasting through a spaceship's hull, the next you're playing a side-scrolling homage to Afterburner. The boss designs are a fever dream of rotating sprites, weird transformations, and retro-futuristic nonsense that makes your GBA wheeze with joy. Dynasty Warriors Advance. Take the epic battlefield chaos of Dynasty Warriors, stuff it into your Game Boy Advance, and what do you get? Dynasty Warriors Advance, a bold, pocket-sized experiment where ancient China is reduced to about 4 enemies on screen at once, and enough button mashing to give your thumbs PTSD. But hey, it tries, and that counts for something, right? You get a trimmed-down version with just 13 playable characters from the Wei, Wu, Shu, and Lu Bu Wants to Kill You factions. It's like someone boiled down the romance of the Three Kingdoms into a bite-sized beat-em-up snack. Each faction starts with 3 characters, and finishing Muzu mode unlocks secret characters. Yes, including Lu Bu, who's still the ultimate oh-no boss, whether he's pixelated or not. Gameplay is simplified to fit the hardware. You can block, chain basic attacks, and build up a Muzu meter for special moves, but don't expect flashy cut-ins or crowd control carnage. It's all very modest. Still, it scratches a strategic itch with its branching campaign structure and weapon armor upgrade. Is it the most elegant GBA title? Not even close. But if you ever dreamed of conquering ancient China while stuck in a dentist's waiting room, this game had your back. It's niche, clunky, and weirdly lovable in that Lu Bu in your pocket kind of way. Rave Master Special Attack Force. It's anime brawling with spiky hair, explosive magic, and a talking seal in a suit. Yup, Rave Master Special Attack Force brings Hiro Mishima's chaotic crew to the GBA in a 2D fighter that's basically a Saturday morning cartoon thrown into a pocket-sized punch fest. Whether you're throwing punches as Haru with his 10-ton sword or blasting enemies with Ili's Etherean-powered dance moves, this one brings the charm and cheese of the anime right to your thumbs. The game drops you into a side-view 2D arena where you pick from 14 characters. Yes, even weirdos like Ruby and Griffin Kato are here. And go to town using special moves, combos, and flashy anime attacks that would make a Joestar jealous. Each character has their own distinct playstyle. Haru swings like a freight train. Let Dahaka brings martial arts finesse. And Lucia Raregroove just looks like trouble. Gameplay is simple but fun. Mash buttons for light and heavy attacks, build your special meter, and unleash special attacks that are screen-filling and fan-servicey in the best way. The game includes 5 modes: story, time attack, training, survival, and versus, with AI battles or link cable chaos if you've got a buddy nearby.
Good luck.
Steel Empire. Steel Empire is a fully realised steampunk war opera with propeller-driven pathos, mustachioed villainy, and some of the most imaginative aerial combat ever crammed into a Game Boy Advance cartridge. Set in an alternate 19th century where steam power is gospel and armoured trains wage war against flying battleships, this horizontally scrolling shooter throws you headfirst into a brass and smoke-soaked showdown between the noble Republic of Silverhead and the brutal Motorhead Empire. You'll choose between 2 aircraft: the nimble, puffin-named Striker, perfect for strafing ground enemies and zipping through tight airspace, or the hulking Zeppelin-inspired Z-01, which trades speed for screen-clearing power and superior defense. Both can shoot forward and backward, an unusual and incredibly satisfying mechanic, and both are loaded with special munitions, from bouncing bombs to skyward mines. Drill Dozer. This game is what happens when Game Freak takes a break from catching them all and says, "What if our hero just drilled through everything instead?" And they weren't kidding, Because in this criminally underrated GBA gem, you're Jill, the pint-sized daughter of a legendary bandit leader. Armed with her mech suit, a literal drill dozer with beefy, shoulder-mounted torque, Jill charges into 17 beautifully crafted levels, drilling through walls, puzzles and enemies with shoulder button precision. Right shoulder, forward drill. Left shoulder, reverse drill. It's tactile, it's snappy, and thanks to built-in rumble, yes, the GBA cartridge shakes, you'll feel every grind and gear shift as you smash through destructible terrain and boss weak spots like a steampunk wrecking ball. The gameplay constantly reinvents itself. You'll use the drill to power lifts, cut through tangled machinery, solve environmental puzzles, and face off against bosses ranging from stone colossi to brainwashed curators. And in Jill's case, sometimes punch them in the face when your mech breaks down. The gear system adds satisfying progression, letting you unlock stronger, longer-lasting drills, and the shop lets you upgrade for secret hunting and survival boosts. Hidden treasure, secret levels, a wild gang of villains, and Jill's stubborn, drill-first-ask-later attitude give this game more personality than most full-sized console titles. King of Swing. If Donkey Kong ever ditched barrels and bongo drums for pegboard parkour, you'd get DK King of Swing, a brilliantly bananas twist on platforming, where climbing becomes a full-on physics puzzle. Forget traditional jumps. Here, you're monkeying around with the L and R triggers to grip and spin your way through vine-covered peg jungle, rotating like a simian-shaped clock hand on a sugar high. The entire game revolves around DK's mitts. Hold L or R to grab pegs with the left or right hand, respectively. Grabbing both lets you jump, spinning lets you launch, and charging up gives you a punch that can smash through obstacles or send enemies flying. It's tactile, weirdly rhythmic, and once you get the hang of it, insanely addictive. The movement is more puzzle-solving than pure platforming, and each level throws in new mechanics, cranks, levers, movable pegs, that make you feel like a jungle engineer with opposable thumbs of steel. Story mode is simple. King K. Rool has stolen the Jungle Jam medals, because of course he did, and DK swings off to recover them across 5 themed worlds. You'll grab bananas to heal, or go invincible, find medals, and hunt for 20 sneaky crystal coconuts. Beat the game. You unlock a tougher Diddy mode. Multiplayer Jungle Jam mode lets you battle up to 4 players in races, brawls, and territory control minigames, adding chaos and coconut throwing mayhem. Advance Wars. In a war of strategic ingenuity and pixel-perfect tactics, 2 nations collide on a fictional continent where every move counts. This turn-based strategy gem from Intelligent Systems throws you into a conflict between Orange Star and Blue Moon, plus a few other colourful factions, as a mysterious betrayal sparks a worldwide war. In this title, you'll be tasked with defeating enemy forces by either routing them from the map or capturing their headquarters, all while navigating a grid-based battlefield that demands both thoughtful planning and quick decision-making. During the campaign, you assume the role of a tactical advisor for Orange Star, working closely with commanding officers like Andy, Max, and Sammy, whose unique strengths affect everything from unit movement to attack power. Each battle is a balancing act, managing limited resources such as fuel for units, while taking advantage of diverse terrains like cities, ports, and mountains. With an in-depth tutorial mode easing players into the mechanics, the game cleverly demystifies complex strategy concepts, making it accessible to newcomers without sacrificing depth. Multiplayer modes, CO powers, and a map design mode add layers of replayability, ultimately turning every skirmish into a test of wits and nerve. Klonoa, Empire of Dreams. Waking up in a strange kingdom and immediately getting arrested for the crime of dreaming might sound like the plot of an avant-garde art film, but for Klonoa, it's just Tuesday. Dragged before the grumpy, sleepless Emperor Julius, this floppy-eared hero is told that dreams are outlawed, and his sentence is to go on a monster-slaying errand for the throne. With his ever-chirpy sidekick Huepao and a wind ring that can hoist enemies like plushy grenades, Klonoa sets off to bop some dream-twisted baddies and puzzle jump his way to freedom. Need to jump higher? Double jump off a foe's face. Need to reach a switch? Toss an enemy into it like a dream-powered dodgeball. Add in movable blocks, flappy ear hover jumps, and 3 collectible stars hidden per level to unlock exits. And every stage becomes a mini escape room with pastel skies and happy danger. Each of the Empire's regions introduces new puzzle mechanics and dream-themed monsters, with the story slowly revealing that these monsters are actually transformed citizens, victims of a dream-thieving conspiracy cooked up by the Emperor's sinister minister, Bagu. Sigma Star Saga. What happens when you mash up an RPG, a side-scrolling space shooter, and a love triangle inside an alien meat ship? You get one of the most genre-bending, emotionally chaotic GBA games ever made. Here, you step into the boots of Ian Wrecker, a battle-hardened pilot forced to go undercover with Earth's sworn enemy, the Krill, all while juggling parasitic upgrades, planetary espionage, and some seriously awkward romantic tension between 2 brilliant women who really don't get along. The overworld bits play like a classic top-down RPG. You'll be chatting, exploring alien landscapes, and solving problems with blasters and brain cells. But at any moment, you can be yeeted into space for randomized shoot-'em-up battles where your ship changes class on the fly. One moment you're in a slick fighter, the next you're stuck in a clunky cargo tub, wondering who replaced your thrusters with mashed potatoes. And then there's the gun data system, an unholy spreadsheet of awesome. Mix and match over 15,000 cannon/bullet/impact combos to craft your ideal death beam. Want a backwards-firing, long-range laser that explodes on contact and drops health? That's a Tuesday in this game. Boktai 2 Solar Boy Django. Losing your vampire-blasting solar gun to a mysterious shadowy figure is already a rough day. But getting zapped by your own weapon and waking up in your hometown that's now half in ruins, that's just the beginning of your troubles. In this sun-soaked sequel, you return as Django, the solar boy, stripped of your iconic Gundam soul and thrust into a much grittier, more complex world where light isn't just a weapon. It's also currency, power, and the key to saving what's left of humanity. This time around, gameplay blends stealthy dungeon crawling with more RPG-like depth. You'll swing swords, spears, and hammers instead of just zapping foes, thanks to your new solar glove, the Sol de Vis, which lets you enchant weapons with sunlight. Sunlight now builds up as SOL, which you can convert into money called SOL. Yes, sunlight is the economy now. And that money? It'll buy gear, extra lives, or be reinvested into your solar savings account with interest. Capitalism, but make it photonic. Lady Sire. Sword in one hand, spell ring in the other. Lady Seer doesn't wait for reinforcements. She is the reinforcement. This fierce warrior princess starts her adventure locked in a castle cell while her kingdom crumbles and a race of magical beast folk called the Tsoas wage war under the rule of a power-hungry warlock named Oniman. What follows is a whirlwind quest across elemental kingdoms, griffin rides, political drama, and magical brawls that would make Xena give a respectful nod. At its core, gameplay combines classic side-scrolling platforming with real-time sword combat and a splash of spell-slinging chaos. You'll dash, leap, wall jump, and swing your jade sword through 4 major realms, each ending with a showdown and a chance to win allies back to your cause. Melee strikes are fast and combo-rich, while Sia's magic system lets you zap, explode, or one-shot enemies with air, fire, and water spells, each unlocked as you progress through the second realm. Occasionally, Sia transforms into a Sasquatch-like beast in boss battles, tossing finesse aside for brute force smashes, dashes, and ground pounds that scream, "Okay, I'm done playing nice." Car Battler Joe. Want to earn cash, crush rivals, and drift your way to vehicular glory, all while being a 16-year-old named Joe? Then buckle up, because this GBA gem throws you into a world where cars are everything, your job, your weapon, and your only shot at teenage stardom. You'll start as a humble rookie with a beat-up ride, but with enough grit and grinding, you'll rise through the ranks of battle arenas by turning your garage junker into a street-legal tank armed with rockets, saw blades, and righteous custom spoilers. Gameplay mashes top-down arcade driving with crunchy RPG mechanics. Each mission puts you behind the wheel in frantic loot-hunting combat zones, where you'll blast enemy drivers off the road Mad Max style, while grabbing crates for gear and cash. After each battle, you head back to town to shop, repair, and soup up your car, using a dizzying array of stats, weapons, armor, and body frames. You'll cruise through a full-on campaign, meet NPCs in different towns, and take on delivery gigs or bounty contracts to rack up funds. There's a story here, but it's more of a Sunday newspaper comic strip than Shakespeare. What really matters is building the ultimate road warrior and taking it into combat again and again. Rebel Star Tactical Command. In a dystopian 2117, where aliens have turned Earth into their personal Netflix binge, but with actual humans as the episodes, you play as Jor-El, a teenage rebel with no brain implant, a lot of anger, and just enough psychic resistance to become Earth's last great hope. Welcome to a tactics game where every bullet counts, every turn matters, and your squad mates might not make it out alive. This is no frilly, base-building sci-fi sim. Rebel Star. Tactical command strips strategy down to the dirt. You command a small squad of individual characters on grid-based maps in turn-based battles that demand patience, precision, and clever use of action points, AP. Want to crouch, aim, turn, move, or fire. Everything costs AP, so every decision, no matter how small, means life or death. Run out of bullets mid-battle. Better loot your buddy's corpse or that alien's still-smoking plasma rifle. Each character gains experience for dealing damage, healing allies, or using psionic powers. Level-ups improve stats randomly, but you get to assign skill points in specialties like heavy weapons, stealth, or healing, allowing characters to evolve into sniper gods, medic legends, or sneaky terminators over time. Scourge Hive. When your first day on the job ends with you getting infected by an alien virus that mutates everything it touches, robots, critters, you know it's going to be a rough gig. In Scourge Hive, you play as Genoza Armor, a no-nonsense bounty hunter with an arm cannon, a grappling hook, and a very bad infection. Sent to salvage and investigate a trashed research lab on a backwater planet, she quickly realizes that everything's gone Scourge-shaped, meaning mutated, swarming, and trying to kill her. Also, her anti-infection suit. Yeah, it's more like a glorified timer. Played from a tilted isometric view, the game mashes up platforming, puzzle solving, and tactical shooting into a tight, tense experience. You'll explore interconnected zones filled with infested corridors, locked down labs, and environmental hazards, gradually unlocking new upgrades and traversal skills like mid-air dashes, ledge grabs, and zipline swings. But the real twist is the infection meter that's always ticking up. Wait too long, and you'll start rotting from the inside out. Forget backtracking for loot. You're sprinting for the nearest cleansing station before you turn into alien soup. The Legendary Starfy. It starts with a bunny crashing through your palace roof and ends with a moon-sized dragon villain face-planting into lunar dust, because that's just how Starfy rolls. The Legendary Starfy on Nintendo DS is a sugar rush platformer where you, as a plucky aquatic prince with a megawatt smile and arms made of pure jelly, spin, splash, and smack your way through a whimsical ocean full of adorable nonsense and surprising depth, pun intended. You'll dive headfirst into dreamy aquatic zones, bounce through sunlit beaches, and zip across outer space while helping Bunston, a space bunny prince with amnesia, rebuild his ship using crystal shards scattered across the world. As Starfy, your spin attack is your bread and butter. Whether you're battling jellyfish, dodging boulders, or opening treasure chests, hiding collectible goodies like heart pieces and stylish costumes. Need to walk on land? Yep. You awkwardly hop around like a wet marshmallow. Charming. Later, you'll absorb Bunston's powers to transform into themed forms like a fiery seal or ghosty swirl boy with abilities that open up new paths or boss strategies. Rhythm Tengoku. Imagine a rhythm game that throws out the flashy visuals and just tells you to feel the beat with your soul. That's Rhythm Tengoku, a bizarro, brilliant audio-first rhythm experience where your ears are your superpower and your thumbs better have groove. Developed by Nintendo with musical guidance from J-pop maestro Tsunku, this GBA gem is less about following blinking lights and more about internalizing funky chicken clap beats, karate chopping ghosts, or keeping time with a rhythm marching shrimp army. No, really, every stage is its own quirky world. 1 minute, you're striking punches in sync as a dojo master, and the next, you're plucking hairs off an onion-like alien at the right tempo. The controls are dead simple, usually just 1 or 2 buttons, but the challenge comes from timing, intuition, and resisting the urge to blink when the music starts swinging. There are 8 sets of games, each culminating in a remix level that mashes up the previous ones into a hyperactive rhythm smoothie with extra flair, costume changes, tempo shifts, you name it. Nail it, and you're awarded a medal, get a superb, and you might just unlock mini-games, drum lessons, or rhythm toys like a surreal metronome chicken. Astro Boy Omega Factor. Play as a robot kid who can punch, kick, fly, and shoot lasers all at once in this high-octane, side-scrolling beat-em-up. Developed by Treasure, masters of pixel chaos, blast through waves of enemies in both the air and on the ground. You'll also unlock new characters, upgrade stats like flight speed or punch strength, and slowly piece together a multiverse-level drama where robot rights, lost continents, and time travel are all fair game. Just when it seems like all hope is lost, you'll go back in time again with the power of the Phoenix and rewrite destiny. Between all the fast-paced rocket-flying, laser-beaming and X-gauge screen-clearing attacks, the game also drops a Tezuka lore bomb, stuffing nearly every one of his creations into one connected universe. Oh, and there's an Omega factor that acts like your brain's save file for characters and abilities. It's weirdly poetic for a game where you can uppercut a tank. With branching timelines and multiple endings, the game's story becomes even deeper during the second playthrough, where everything you thought you understood gets flipped, reversed, and emotionally punched in the robogut. This one's more than just a tribute, it's a legacy machine with heart, fists, and jet boots. Iridion II. The peace didn't last. After humanity spread across the stars, colonizing what was once enemy territory, the Iridian Empire decided to hit the cosmic reset button. And they're not in the mood for negotiations. You're piloting the SHN-27, a sleek and deadly starfighter that's all that stands between humanity and another intergalactic wipeout. With 15 beautifully crafted, bullet-riddled levels across 5 solar systems, your trigger finger is about to develop a personality of its own. Gameplay brings side-scrolling shooter mayhem with a twist. Before each stage, you pick one of 6 powerful weapons, and once inside, you can power them up or swap them out if you snag the right green drops. Your satellites, tiny turret buddies, snap into different formations based on your movement while you're not shooting, which adds a spicy bit of strategy to all the screen-flooding chaos. Toss in bombs, charge shots, and boss fights that take up half the screen, and you're flying straight into classic arcade intensity, with checkpoints, of course, to soften the soul-crushing defeat. And if that's not enough, the game's challenge mode throws nothing but bosses at you, while the arcade mode lets you flex your perfected run. Oh, and there's a literal music remix station on the title screen, because nothing says galactic war like tweaking your own soundtrack beat by beat. This one doesn't just test your reflexes, it lets you remix your cosmic jam while doing it.
Look at them.
Jet Set Radio. Skating through neon-lit chaos, rebel youth zoom through the streets of Tokyo 2 on inline skates, armed with nothing but spray cans and a punk rock attitude. As a member of the GGs, your mission is simple. Tag every wall, outrun the riot squads, and take back the city's turf from rival gangs and a power-mad mega-corporation. What starts as a turf war explodes into a surreal, graffiti-fueled battle against corrupt elites, cyborgs, and even a vinyl record rumoured to summon literal demons. You'll grind rails, leap across rooftops, and bust tricks to refill your paint while dodging everything from police drones to tanks. Each tag requires strategy. Some are quick button presses, while others demand full analog stick gestures. Paint's a precious resource. You'll constantly be on the hunt for yellow and blue spray cans scattered across the stage. Graffiti gets bigger, bolder, and more intense as your notoriety grows, and so does the heat from Captain Onishima's increasingly over-the-top crackdown.
Easy ride.
Top Gear Rally. Forget turbo crazy racers. Top Gear Rally on the GBA. Kept it real with dirt physics, weather effects, and customizable suspension that actually mattered. Developed by Boss Game Studios in 1919, it let you race across road and off-road tracks in rain, fog, snow, and even at night. While the cars were fictional, they handled like the real deal, with engine placement, drivetrain, and tyre grip affecting everything from jump landings to sharp turns. Championship mode had you grind through 6 seasons, unlocking cars and tracks as you racked up wins. Want a challenge? Mirror tracks and tougher weather conditions made sure you weren't just cruising. Multiplayer was limited to 2-player split screen, but the custom car paint editor and physics-based gameplay added serious replay value. It wasn't the flashiest racer, but it had heart, realism, and one of the best feeling suspensions on the GBA. Rumble pack ready too. Broken Sword, the shadow of the Templars. Paris, mystery, and one unlucky American tourist. In Broken Sword, the shadow of the Templars, you play as George Stobbart, a vacationer who witnesses a cafe bombing and somehow ends up unraveling an ancient conspiracy tied to the Knights Templar. Armed with only his curiosity and an impressive ability to poke around, George teams up with journalist Nicole Collard to track down sacred relics, decode cryptic manuscripts, and crisscross Europe and the Middle East. The GBA version condenses the original point-and-click PC classic into a surprisingly slick, portable package, complete with clever puzzles and globe-trotting intrigue. It's all about pixel-perfect exploration, dialogue choices, and smart inventory usage. While the touchscreen, or mouse, is sorely missed, the translation to button-based controls holds up surprisingly well. And yes, you can still die if you mess up, so save often. Though trimmed down, the story retains its charm, wit, and tension. It's a historical thriller squeezed into your pocket, and it's still got that legendary goat puzzle.
Leg it!
Sabre Wulf. This game takes you to the jungle, literally. Sabre Wulf throws you head first into a 256-screen, flip-screen labyrinth where you're a moustached adventurer in a pith helmet trying to collect 4 glowing pieces of a mystical amulet. Why? Because that's the only way you'll pass the snarling guardian beast and escape this pixelated night. There's no tutorial, no hints. Just orchids that might make you invincible or reverse your controls, and a parade of tropical enemies like scorpions, snakes, bats, and, yes, the titular Sabre Wulf himself. Armed with a sabre, Sabreman hacks through the wildlife while dodging a killer bushfire that shows up if you dawdle. It's colourful, brutal, and absurdly addictive. Originally on ZX Spectrum, the GBA port keeps the retro chaos intact, but smoother and handheld ready. There's treasure to loot, extra lives to snag, and an actual sequel waiting once you escape. Think of it as Spelunky's ancient ancestor, only with way more spiders and no mercy. Kururin. Welcome to Kururin, where you pilot the Hellerin, a rotating stick helicopter, through twisting corridors of doom. Touch a wall, you lose time. Keep touching walls, you lose lives. Lose all lives? Good luck starting over without crying. This game looks like a pastel playground, but it will chew your soul like bubblegum. Training starts off sweet, with your rabbit sensei, yes, really, teaching you to twirl through tunnels. But soon, you're navigating icy gauntlets, mechanical horrors, and cave systems that make claustrophobia jealous. And did we mention the stick never stops spinning? You're constantly judging angles, timing, and speed, like a rotating fidget spinner of doom. Multiplayer? Oh yes, there's chaotic 4-player single kart racing, perfect for ending friendships. And challenge mode, that's just the devs laughing at your pain. Even the easy mode, where your stick's half the size, still feels like you're threading a needle blindfolded. Kururin's out here trying to rescue his siblings, but really, it's you that needs saving. Cute? Absolutely. Chill? Not even close. A true GBA cult classic that proves cute doesn't mean kind. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. If Metroid and Kirby had a pink floaty baby, it would be Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. This wild GBA gem drops our favourite marshmallow into a full-blown Metroidvania, swapping traditional linear stages for a sprawling interconnected labyrinth with secret doors, unlockable shortcuts, and bosses hiding behind every pink puffball panic attack. The twist? Kirby gets sliced into 4 differently coloured clones by Dark Meta Knight, Rude. And you can call them anytime using an in-game flip phone. Yup, Kirby has a cell phone. Each Kirby can be controlled by friends via link cable, or by surprisingly competent CPUs if you're flying solo. Abilities are back in full force, from classics like Sword and Beam to oddballs like Cupid and the chaotic Smash power-up, which straight up turns Kirby into his Super Smash Bros. Melee moveset. Throw in collectible paint cans, music discs, and HP boosting hearts, and you've got a pink whirlwind of depth. The real draw? Freedom. Go wherever, whenever. No hand-holding, just Kirby vibes and a warped mirror dimension that's begging to be unglitched with maximum cuteness. Urban Yeti. Ever wondered what would happen if a giant orange Yeti wandered into a city looking for love? Urban Yeti answers that bizarrely specific question with even more bizarre gameplay. This top-down action oddity plays like Grand Theft Auto's cryptid cousin, where your mission is to dodge angry townsfolk, outrun cops, and find a date, because even Yetis get lonely. The whole game is structured around mini-missions, each kicking off a ridiculous challenge. Want to cross a bridge? Get a job? Want a job? Play a cooking minigame. Want love? Survive traffic, angry mobs, and get through some of the jankiest controls the GBA ever tolerated. There are 4 main missions and 4 truly strange minigames, each a fever dream of budget coding and cryptid comedy. V-Rally 3. If you ever dreamed of rally racing, but couldn't afford to destroy a real car on dirt roads, V-Rally 3 was your ticket to off-road glory, on the go. The Game Boy Advance version of this rally sim is shockingly competent, delivering a scaled-down yet immersive experience packed with tight corners, muddy drifts, and roaring engines squeezed into your tiny screen. The standout here is the full-fledged career mode, which lets you climb the rally ranks over multiple seasons, signing with teams, unlocking cars, and surviving the chaos of unpredictable weather and twisty terrain. You'll race across 24 demanding tracks with 20 real-world rally beasts like the Subaru Impreza WRC and Peugeot 206 WRC, each with their own handling quirks. Oh, and if you dominate the 2.0L Championship, bonus cars await. Despite the GBA's limitations, V-Rally 3 pulls off slick Mode 7 style visuals and smooth controls that make each jump, drift, and finish line photo op feel earned. Whether you're shaving seconds off in time attack or going full throttle through the dirt in quick race mode, it's a rally fan's portable dream with a serious challenge to match. Zone of the Enders, the Fist of Mars. The Fist of Mars takes the Zone of the Enders universe and slows it down for some deep, turn-based tactical action with a twist of first-person flavor. Set in the year 2173, the game follows 17-year-old Cage Midwell, who goes from space freight worker to accidental mech pilot in the middle of a rebellion on Mars. With political intrigue, memory loss, and a rogue AI girl in tow, things escalate faster than a Djibouti boost dash. Instead of mashing attack commands, combat relies on the IAS, Interactive Attack System, which pulls you into first-person mode to manually aim or dodge, turning every fight into a tense moment of skill rather than stats alone. Between 26 anime-style episodes, you'll upgrade your mechs, learn who's double-crossing whom, and maybe even unlock alternate endings based on your choices. While the animations are simple and the pace can be slow, the layered story, strategic combat, and rich character development make it a hidden gem for anyone craving thoughtful mecha drama on the GBA. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. If Diablo had a Hobbit cousin on GBA, this would be it. The Return of the King takes the epic finale of Tolkien's Saga and shrinks it down into an isometric hack-and-slash dungeon crawler that actually works incredibly well on handheld. You'll play as Gandalf, Frodo, Legolas, Gimli, and Éowyn, each with unique abilities and upgradable skills, cutting through waves of orcs, Haradrim, and other nasty Mordor minions across iconic locations from the films. The GBA version emphasizes customization with its rune system, which lets you slot magical enhancements into your weapons for fire damage, critical hits, or even healing. The game also includes co-op multiplayer via link cable and bonus unlockables if you connect with the GameCube version. Yes, cross-platform Lord of the Rings synergy was a thing. Combat is fast and satisfying, loot is plentiful, and boss fights keep things intense. Plus, the game loosely follows the movie's structure, but isn't afraid to do its own thing, which keeps the pacing fresh and gamey rather than cinematic fluff. Summon Knight Swordcraft Story. Ever wondered what would happen if Zelda, Persona, and a blacksmith simulator had a baby? Welcome to Summon Knight Swordcraft Story, where you're the chosen forge nerd with a talking spirit buddy and a deep legacy to live up to. The game slaps you with a 10-day countdown, a city-sized tournament, and a twisty dungeon called the Labyrinth, packed with monsters, rival crafters, and secrets about your mysterious dad's death. You'll spend your days crafting weapons, literally making your own swords, axes, spears, and even drills, and using them in side-scrolling real-time combat with satisfying slash and smash gameplay. But don't get too swing-happy. Each weapon has durability, and when it breaks, it's gone forever. No pressure. Between fights, you'll hang out with NPCs, take side quests, and choose nighttime conversations that affect your ending. Meanwhile, political backstabbing and ancient elemental gods are stirring up chaos in the background. The weapon crafting loop is deeply addicting, and each Guardian Beast companion changes your spell arsenal and crafting bonuses. Yggdra Union. This tactical RPG throws you into a gritty war campaign led by a runaway princess wielding a holy sword and an even holier sense of justice, though what justice means gets murkier by the hour. The twist? You don't just move units and smack enemies. You pick a card each turn that determines how many troops you can move, what skills you can unleash, and how strong your attacks will be. Want to heal the squad or wipe the map clean with a divine nuke? Hope you brought the right card. The Union system lets you link characters together in huge chain battles, with different formations depending on gender. Yes, really. And every encounter becomes a chess match of position, timing, and war cries. Moral choices, betrayals, and the question of whether divine authority justifies collateral damage drive the plot, with multiple endings depending on your ruthlessness. It's deep, tense, and absolutely wild. And there you have it, 50 oddballs, curveballs, and straight-up what-the-shell classics that prove the GBA library is way deeper than we remember. From romancing pigeons, well, almost, to dodging urban tax collectors as a yeti. These titles didn't just colour outside the lines, they tore up the colouring book and made their own. So dig through those cartridges, fire up your emulator, and experience the handheld fever dream that was GBA. Which one blew your mind? Which one made you say, wait, that's real? Drop your faves in the comments, subscribe for more chaos, and stay retro, rebels.